People who grew up in the 1970s carry a mindset that is almost impossible to explain to those born after the 2000s. This generation was shaped by silence, freedom, danger, and a kind of childhood for which almost any parent today would be arrested. And yet, those years created a mindset that still shows in the way they think, argue, trust, love, and survive. They grew up in a world with almost no supervision. If you disappeared for 5 hours, no one panicked. You didn't have a phone, no GPS, just a bike, a few friends, and a promise to be home before dark. And even that rule was flexible. Psychologically, this created something rare today, a natural confidence that you can go through life without constant guidance. People from the 70s still have this strange inner voice that says, "I'll figure it out," even when they have no idea what to do. But if you really want to understand the psychology of the 70s generation, you need to look at what came before them. Most of them were raised by parents who had lived through World War II or were born right after it. Imagine growing up with a father or mother who had experienced real fear, real hunger, real sacrifice. Those parents spoke little, didn't complain, and didn't break down. They survived and passed on a survival mindset to their children, often without even realizing it. That's why people from the 70s grew up faster. Responsibility wasn't something they learned in courses. It was something they breathed at home. You helped, you fixed things, you figured things out. If something broke, you didn't throw it away, you repaired it. If something went wrong, you didn't panic, you adapted. They didn't have the idea that someone would come and help them. Help was yourself. And this is what people most often forget. The world they lived in forced them to grow a steel backbone. They saw their parents working long hours without complaining. They saw neighbors helping each other without taking pictures of it. They saw adults quietly bearing the weight of real life. Such an environment shapes a child, teaching them that life is serious, but you can handle it. That problems are normal, that responsibility isn't a punishment, it's a part of life. People who grew up in the 70s learned to be reliable because they had no other choice. And that's why even today, they feel older than their years. Not physically, but mentally. Their maturity didn't come from books. It came from observing real life up close, without filters or distractions. There is something almost poetic about them. They are a bridge. One foot in the old world, where everything was slow, rough, and real. The other in the new, where everything is fast, loud, and digital. They carry the memory of life without screens, the internet, and noise. But they also see a generation that is drowning in it. Maybe that's why interacting with someone from that era feels different. They are grounded, they are here and now. They don't try to impress you, they don't try to win in some invisible competition. Their confidence comes from childhood, from hardships, and from the responsibility they took on before they even knew the word responsibility. They are a reminder of simplicity. Strength doesn't come from what you were taught. It comes from what you were tested by. And now look at the new generation, those born after the 2000s. They grew up with phones in their hands before they even learned to walk properly. Notifications, video messages, feeds. Their brains have been running at full speed since childhood, and the effect is visible everywhere. They get tired quickly, are easily overwhelmed, and their attention disappears in a second because their minds absorb more information in a single day than people in the 70s saw in an entire week. Social networks give them connection, but they also bring pressure. They compare themselves without even realizing it and feel like they're falling behind even when everything is fine. The brain never fully rests because the phone never stops demanding attention. Even when they relax, they're scrolling. But that's not rest. This is a generation that's smart, creative, and open, but also mentally exhausted, overloaded, and emotionally tired in a way that older generations never experienced. They are growing up in a world that moves too fast for the human brain, trying to survive from one notification to the next. Now, my question to you is this: which generation do you think had it harder and why? And also tell me, were you born before 1980 or after? I want to know which generation you belong to and how relevant this topic is between generations. And also, please subscribe, give a like, and see you next time.